got tips and recipes for healthy living. So for fun and inspiration, come and join us in the raw food world.
Welcome everybody, this is Matt Monarch with the Raw Food World TV show, and we've got a very special episode with a very special guest. We have Walt Merrill here. Thanks for coming on, Walt.
Thank you for having me, Matt.
Absolutely. And Walt here, what he did was he healed from rheumatoid arthritis naturally, which I have heard is impossible to do without drugs or even with drugs. If that's, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your story. For example, you had rheumatoid arthritis, and how bad was it?
Yes, I did, Matt. I had it started probably about a little over 10 years ago, and for the first few years, I really didn't realize that it was rheumatoid arthritis. You know how we just think it will go away when you have a little twinge or a pain in your knee. And I was working all the time. I was the general manager of a liquor store in New Hampshire, a state liquor store, and so I was on my feet most of the day. And so I didn't think too much about it until, after a while, it kept getting worse. And I'd take aspirin once in a while, but I'm not much for taking painkillers or anything. So I just got a little bit worse over time. And then finally, my wife and my daughter kept talking to me and said, gee, you really should see somebody. And so I didn't really want to go to a surgeon because I know I didn't want to have any operation on my knee and so forth. So I finally found a naturopathic doctor. And from there, it just was a long episode with pain and so forth. But I think I can boil it down to three things that really helped me get so much better. And it was food, water, and exercise.
Wow. So were you diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis?
Yes, I was.
And was that from the naturopathic doctor, or was that from the real doctor?
No, I started with a naturopath, and he told me, what I should do. I should go to a rheumatologist or a medical doctor, get my diagnosis. He thought it was rheumatoid, but he wasn't 100% sure. And so I went to the rheumatologist, and through a bunch of tests and so forth, it was confirmed that it was rheumatoid arthritis.
Right. They could test things for like rheumatoid factor and things like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you have any issues with your fingers or anything like that?
Mostly my knees and my right wrist.
Wow. And what was happening? Were they going inwards or anything, or just pain?
Well, the knees over time ended up, not only were they inflamed and swollen, but they ended up being deformed a little bit.
Right, that's what rheumatoid arthritis does, right?
Right.
Yeah.
When you let it go too long, and that was probably my biggest mistake, not doing something about it quicker.
Wow. So what happened was you actually reversed the rheumatoid arthritis.
Yes.
Is there permanent damage that was done, or do you think you reversed that too?
My left knee, I can't quite straighten it out to 90 degrees, but so I don't have all the range of motion there. But other than that, I feel great. There's no pain, and I don't use any assist for walking. At my worst point, I needed a walker to get around.
Wow. So you reversed a lot of it, and pretty much all of it except for a little bit, and you stopped it in its tracks.
Yes. If I had to do it over again, I would have started earlier.
Right.
Like, I guess we all know that. We always wait too long to try to correct something.
Right. Absolutely.
But after I was, the rheumatologist diagnosed it as rheumatoid, and so then she gave me all kinds of tests and so forth, and x-rays and that type of thing. And I kept seeing her for probably about 3 to 4 years. And then in the meantime, my naturopath said, he asked me to go to the rheumatologist to get it confirmed. But then after, I kept going with him, and he helped me on the nutrition aspect of it. And that's where I discovered, after I did a lot of research on my own to find out as much as I could about rheumatoid arthritis after I was diagnosed with it. And there's all kinds of things that I tried. Some worked and some didn't, but that's what I came down to. The nutrition was number one, I felt, that was really, it started to turn it around, because once I started eating, like organic, fresh fruits and vegetables and that type of thing, and no junk food, no processed food, and all that,
Right.
I could feel that I was getting rid of a little bit of the pain, a little at a time. And also, my naturopath said you should really go to a physical therapist. And so I eventually did that, and he helped me an awful lot, because the pain was subsiding a little bit, but I still had the pain. But when I went to him for exercise sessions, I could feel the difference. It would still hurt, but within a day or so, I could feel that I could get a little bit more range of motion and so forth in my knees. And that's what, it just was the beginning of of a long path, but I ended up good.
Wow. So you said it was diet plus water plus this exercise is what healed you?
I believe that it is what it is. Those I feel are the most important, because we all, before this happened, I ate like every other American does. You go to McDonald's here and there, and you have some processed foods and other things, and you really didn't think about the importance of having a raw diet and eating organic vegetables and fruits. But I believe that's one of the things that helped a lot, because eventually I found out that eating those things will help clean the toxins and the inflammation out of your body.
Absolutely. I mean, me personally, I do this for a living, so I've literally met tens of thousands of people who have healed from all sorts of degenerative diseases. I've heard of people healing from rheumatoid arthritis, even on a cooked whole foods diet, like 80% raw, avoiding all the McDonald's and processed foods.
Right.
Yeah, and this absolutely has the potential to work from my perspective.
Yeah, and it did. It did. And that, coupled with the water, like all of us in the past, we'd have a Pepsi or a Coke or whatever kind of soft drink, or diet drinks or anything else. And I found out that through switching water for these soft drinks, it helped a lot. And then I found out after, actually, I investigated it more about the bad things in all of the soda drinks that we drink.
Right, absolutely.
And so the water just helps clean you out and get you in a better position to re-heal yourself.
What kind of water are you drinking?
Well, we have I drink bottled water. Sometimes we have a small filter that we'll use, and I'll use that too. I kind of vary between a couple. I'll drink distilled for some on and off, but basically, as long as I feel if it's clean, pure water, it's most likely pretty good.
Yeah, I'm a fan of distilled water too, and I've heard like distilled water is empty of everything, can remove calcification and calcium out. It like magnetizes and brings it out through the urine, and people think that it's leaching their minerals because it's bringing out the bad stuff, when that's not the case. And it's impossible. What I've heard is if after you utilize organic minerals, you can't have them bleached out. Your body's used them, if that makes sense.
It does. It does make sense. Yep. So I think that was the second one, and then the third was exercise. And for years, my wife would tell me, "Get up and move." I just my knees hurt so much. it was just a horrific pain, and I just wanted to sit. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to do anything. But her suggestion was right, and finally I took it to heart and started to move more, and that was also associated with the physical therapist. And it doesn't take a lot. You don't have to be a real gymnast or anything. You just have to get up and move, take a walk, go outdoors, get the sun, and that's what I learned. And another thing is rebounding. We bought a rebounder, and I use that every day, and that helps move all the lymph and so forth in your system. So that helps clean you out and exercise all your organs and your muscles and your bones at the same time. And it doesn't have an impact on your knees.
Right. And you actually wrote a book documenting the entire process you healed, your story, everything like that, if I'm not mistaken. And we actually carry it on our website. Can you tell us the name of the book and everything like that?
Yes, I can. It's called Arthritis: How I Conquered It by Walt, and I have a copy of it here. If you can see that.
Yep, I could see that. Awesome.
It took me a long time to write it because I really didn't think of writing a book until after I healed myself. And after I healed myself, I got to thinking. I said, I've done such a nice job on myself in healing and taking care of this rheumatoid arthritis. I want to spread the word to other people. I want to let as many people know how I was helped, and in hopes it will help them, because there's millions of people around the world that suffer from it. And I know how excruciating the pain can be, and it's just, almost impossible to get rid of it. And I don't think I get rid of it, because I think I only put it in remission, because I don't think you can ever get rid of it. And that's why I would never go back onto the other diet and the other way of life. I'll continue this as long as I live, because I believe it works, and I'm not going to try anything to jeopardize it.
Right. And this worked on rheumatoid arthritis, everybody. So imagine if it works like on one of the most lethal arthritis there is. It has the potential to probably work on all others, I would assume.
I think so. I'm not a doctor, and I can't tell, but it worked for me. And I know, like you say, rheumatoid is one of the worst. I've known probably half a dozen people that have actually passed away from rheumatoid arthritis, or the effects of it, how it affects their other organs and so forth. So, yeah, I think it will help all people with all autoimmune diseases. And there might be some variations. They might need to do a little something different than what I did, but I think the three keys to it would help everybody.
Right. The diet, the water, and the exercise.
Right. Exactly.
And again, I've literally met tens of thousands of people who've healed from all sorts of diseases, and a lot of the health food institutes utilize this method. Naturopathic doctors utilize this method in order to heal. And I actually did a free video on how to heal disease naturally, like how to eliminate processed foods, and like what foods are acceptable on a raw and cooked whole foods diet. And I'm just going to put that link right down there if anybody wants to check it out. So you can click on that and learn how to do that in your own home. And then also, of course, Walt's book here is invaluable, which you can find on our website. And yeah, that's incredible, Walt. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. The only other thing I would like to add, Matt, is I am a believer in supplements as well. And if that's why when you go to the naturopathic doctor, they will give you blood tests and so forth, and they can test for exactly what your body is deficient in. So if it happens to be vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin A, or whatever it is, they can tell you, and they will give you ideas of what what vitamins or supplements to take to help with your recovery as well. And I do that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
probably the part of it, but that probably it would be a little different depending upon each patient after they see their doctor to get their blood checked.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you have a deficiency, you want to target that with nutrients through supplements and other means.
Exactly. Well, hopefully you can do it through food, but like you say, sometimes either that's not enough, or the food we get, excuse me, doesn't have all the good ingredients in it that they used to.
Right. So superfoods are good, and supplements and things like this.
Right.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Walt. Is there anything else you'd like to share with everybody?
I don't think so. I'd just like to have everybody know that they can conquer this, and they can make their life a lot better. You have to have arthritis to be able to know how bad the pain is. It's just excruciating. You don't even want to move, and to just get a little movement and a little activity can make you feel so much better. And the better you feel, the more you're going to move. So it's just like a snowball effect. It just keeps going. The better you feel, the more you move, and the more you move, the better you feel. So it just keeps going. And I'm so happy. Excuse me. I'm so happy that you asked me to be on. And thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited too. We're gonna send this to our list of hundreds of thousands of people. We're going to advertise it on Facebook so we even reach more people we're going to target the arthritis realm. And I think this is going to help a lot of people, and I really appreciate you for coming on and bringing this to everybody.
Okay, thank you. And I can't thank you enough, Matt. It's very encouraging to excuse me, help me get the word out to as many people as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Thanks again, Walt.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Matt.
Okay, so who we have here is Walt Merrill, who conquered rheumatoid arthritis with a raw food, whole foods diet, water, and exercise. It works.
Exactly.
Yes.
It did. I'm living proof that it worked. If you could see me 3 or 4 years ago, you wouldn't you wouldn't know me compared to what I am today. I feel like I told my family, I feel better than I have in the last 10 or 12 years. And I'm 76 years old, so.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow. All right, everybody, this is Matt Monarch, and we'll see you next time at the Raw Food World TV show.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again at the Raw Food World.